Hi everyone, welcome to Words with Wista. Welcome to my not so personal diary where I talk pop culture, politics, internet chaos, and whatever is living rent free in my head. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's serious. Either way, you're hearing my thoughts out loud. If you are part of the Wista gang, part of the Wista crew, do you call yourself a Wista warrior? If you're part of that collective, welcome back. I missed you. I missed you so much. And if you are a new listener, as in the words of Pop Smoke, welcome to the party. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke. Welcome to episode 200. Wow, you guys, we are at the 200th episode. Who would have thought that I would have 200 episodes of this show, and this show is 10 years old? So you know what? Let me be proud of that. I think one thing I always have to keep telling myself is always be consistent. Don't give up on yourself. And also realize the journey to the destination. When you get to that destination and you're ready for the next destination, you're going to reflect on this journey. I truly am grateful for having 200 episodes and being in the podcast space for 10 years. I can say the growth of the industry has definitely changed, but then also there's another shift, and it really goes to show you, regardless the shifts and the changes going on, regardless what industry you're in, keep pivoting and keep doing what you have to do, even if you have to rebrand. I don't know if you guys know, but this show actually used to be called Let Me Tell You Something. It was a show I started in college with a best friend of mine. Shout out to Fred. And literally, I was like, okay, well, I see all these people having podcasts, sharing their thoughts. I have some certain thoughts too. And I don't know if you guys know, I did study broadcast journalism. I did have like a TV show at my college campus, but I was like, hold on. I want to do something where it's not restricted. I'm not being controlled. And I'm not having to do certain things because there's a producer involved, or even due to the fact that this has to do with my school. So we started the show actually in our school's library. If you go back through multiple episodes, you will hear our school librarian popping in and telling us we got to go soon. Or people coming in and trying to be interviewed as well. So I can say if you were part of the journey in the beginning or you're just joining, I truly am grateful for that. And I can't wait to see where else we go through with the next upcoming episodes. We're at 200. We're going to celebrate 225, then 250. Then we're going to celebrate 275 and then 300. I know some people are like, oh, well, we can go and celebrate from 200 to 300. No, I don't do that. I do it by quarters because I feel like sometimes too, we do have to celebrate the small milestones because that's very important. And I'd realize, hey, for me, recording the podcast is just another regular day. But for some people, it's like, okay, this is part of my routine. Or even having friends who would be like, hey, I truly commend you for like still pushing through on this. Or even some of my friends who had podcasts and it's like, yeah, I'm taking a pause from this. Still for them pouring into me. So I truly appreciate it. Let's move further and keep growing the Wista gang, the Wista Warriors, whatever y'all want to call yourselves. I guess we'll figure that out later in the future. We'll pick a name. But right now, it's either Wista gang or Wista Warriors. You can pick out what you want to call yourself. But yeah, truly am appreciative. And the fact that this podcast is an Aquarius, it does not even surprise me. It's 10 years old. Now we're like going through many major things. And if I sound all cracky, I'm not going to cry because I don't be doing that, but man, I want to thank myself. I ain't give up on myself. That's one thing you can say. I ain't never give up on myself. Okay? Thank you. And there's a lot of reasons to prove that, but we'll talk about that another time. But yes, we're at that 10-year mark. I always said the 10-year mark is kind of like the opening the door of, okay, the fruits and labors and the hard work that you put in is now coming to fruition. And it's now you're starting to see certain things, certain signs. But that's a conversation for another time. Like I said, we have moved on from Let Me Tell You Something. This is why I emphasize that the show is a personal diary, because it's like you guys kind of saw me transition from being that awkward girl in college growing into the woman that I am today. Oh my God. I don't want to cry, and I'm not going to because we got a lot of shit to talk about. But one thing is, I have a special message from someone. So let me go and put that little voice recording in. Just please emphasize, if you guys hear a specific date, just want to let you guys know, Valentine's Day, that week of Valentine's Day was a hot ass fucking mess. And we'll talk about that after I play that little voicemail. So you guys, let me give you guys the voicemail. Hold on.
You already know what it is. This is your boy Fred the Tuna, aka Daddy Plantain, aka King Adobo, aka Mr. Suffolk University. Man, 10 years ago, more than that, 12 years ago or so, We started the Let Me Tell You Something podcast, and now it's Words with Wista. Man, time really flies. I'm just sitting here in my room just thinking about how amazing it's been to see you grow and to see you continue this podcast and figure out your own direction. I'm also sitting here thinking like, damn, today's Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and people don't know that. That's fucked up. But, Monday's President's Day, so you already know I'm about to pull out the top hat, celebrate and whatnot. But in any case, I'm going to keep this voicemail short. Happy 200th episode anniversary, and I'm going to talk to you later. I'm out.
Yes, you guys, that was Fred. I feel like it's been a while since I've had like someone else's voice other than my own on this show. I am at the point where we will be bringing back guests, but I got a little surprise for you guys. I actually want to do something where you can come on, and if you got a question you want to ask or a topic you want me to talk about, send me a voicemail. Send me a voicemail. You can send it to wordswithwista@gmail.com, or I'll just give you the number. Yes, you can ring up my phone, leave a voicemail, but just know you leave a voicemail, I will play it on this show. So be careful what you say. But the phone number is 929-379-5772. I'm going to repeat it again. 929-379-5772. I'm not going to answer it, so don't be trying to hit me up. If I haven't spoken to you in a while, I'll be like, hey, big head. Or I don't know if that Virgo, I don't know if you listening, sis. This is not no access, so say something crazy. I'm going to play it on here. Just know, I will play it on here. But Fred, thank you so much just for sending over that lovely voicemail. I truly appreciate, I truly do value our friendship and everything you've done as my best friend. You see, ladies, I'll be telling y'all, I got some good homeboys. Fred's one of them. That's a king right there. That is a black king right there. Real king. But you guys, let's get on to these topics. And you know that we have to start with politics. Yeah, we have to. Let's get to the spiel. We come from many different places. We come from many different races. We come from many different ethnicities. We come from many socioeconomic backgrounds. We come from many educational backgrounds. But what brings us together? Politics and the economy. Let's talk about what the Trump administration is fucking up this week. Okay. Wow. We have a long politics section. I don't know how long this episode is about to be, but we're just going to freestyle. So just listen up, do your work, or drive on the road, or just sit down and relax, because we have a lot to chit chat. Well, I don't know if you guys know, but the State of the Union actually happened a couple days ago. I had to watch it because obviously who's going to report it, right? I have to report it. So the State of the Union happens every year around this time because it's kind of like talking about, okay, what has the president done for that year, right? What changes have been implemented and what changes need to be implemented. I'll personally say this State of the Union was a hot mess, just a hot freaking mess. The fact that they were celebrating that they got rid of DE&I when everybody in that damn room, minus the Democrats, were DE&I hires. Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem. Was Kash Patel even there? Well, we'll talk about him a little bit later. All those people literally in that room praising those things. And I'm just looking at JD Vance. I'm like, wow, you are married to a whole Indian woman and you're standing there praising. Like, you got biracial kids. Like, make it make sense. But even with that as well, Trump was saying that he's done all these good things. He's getting rid of the immigrants, this and that. And I'm just like, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, there are immigrants in that room. It's like, it really goes to show me that some of you guys are gone. But it's the fact, I really tried to sit down and watch this whole thing. I almost fell asleep a couple times and it was just a mess. And it's the fact that something that he highlighted, which I was just like, girl, why are you even celebrating this? So there was this young lady who actually was going through the process where she actually wanted to transition to a trans male, right? I have to say it like that just to explain to y'all. But I guess her parents interfered with something, so she never transitioned. And she was actually there in attendance. and basically celebrating that she never transitioned into becoming a trans man. And why did this young lady stand up and do the clock it, do the little clock it finger, the little two fingers touching, like Young Miami said, it's tea when them two fingers touching. She did that. I looked at her and said, ma'am, how are you going to use a gesture that is used amongst folks in the LGBTQIA community, in all communities specifically, but specifically amongst black folks within that community, and you're tapping your hands saying it's tea, it's girl, ma'am, make it make sense. Like, please, I can't stand you guys. And it was just certain things where Trump was talking, and I'm just like, did you guys just hear this man just talk and talk? It sounded like the senior citizen bingo night where you have that one person on stage and nobody has hit bingo, so they just have to say whatever's in the mic just to let the time go by faster. Also, the fact that he tried to shade Zohran Mamdani and talking about the fact that, the folks who had to go shovel up snow for $30 an hour, or even with that additional $42 an hour overtime, and how they had to bring in IDs and identification. I'm thinking to myself, aren't you the same person that wants people to go to vote, but you want them to bring out like certain amounts of like ID and identification? Like, please, sir, shut up. Shut up. And I'm glad Zoran clapped back at you, because this is just too much for me. I don't know how some people could actually sit through that room. I really don't know. I know usually after they have the State of the Union, the opposing party does like send out a rebuttal, which is usually for like an hour, not too long, something short and cute. So they actually had Abigail Spanberger, who is the first female governor of Virginia. She's the one that beat that black woman. She's the one that beat that MAGA black woman. Yep, she's the one that beat her, where we were all happy about it. I was like, girl, this is only one of the moments I might be happy for a white woman. And this is what happened. But she was the one who gave that speech and kind of like mentioned the importance. And she actually used some of the messaging from her speeches that she's done when she was running for governor. She emphasized on the importance of affordability. She literally started the speech with, look around your cupboards, think about your next bill. What is going on? Has that been any improvements within this year? And I was like, oh, girl, you hitting them when it hurts the most, because a lot of these people said they voted for the economy, and the economy keeps tanking and it's trash. I know that they said that, like, for example, when it comes to like market price for like homes just went down a little bit, but it's like, that's still not enough for people to even get homes. What about these jobs? These jobs, the wages are remaining the same, but the prices keep going up. So can somebody please give that explanation for me, please? Because it's not making any sense at all. It's really not. I recommend watching the rebuttal just so you can get a little bit more of the messaging and how they're moving towards for midterms. Because let's not forget, midterm elections is not too far away. We're not too far from it. Once we hit May, we'll be 6 months away from midterm elections. And let's be real, my birthday is usually the day everybody got to vote. So I know y'all not gonna care about my birthday, which the real ones will know. But at least just do me this favor. Go out and vote. That's what I mainly ask as a birthday gift from some of you guys. Go out and vote. Because I'm not expecting much from y'all, but go out and vote and stream the show. But still, this is a sign. Get it together. Pay attention. Now, let's mosey on to Epstein world. We know that a lot of the files are coming out. A lot of people are beginning to get prosecuted. I don't know if you guys know, but the British police have arrested Prince Andrew and him being connected to the Epstein files. We know that his brother, King Charles, is actually working with the police to just give his information. Actually, today, Thursday, February 26th, Hillary Clinton just took the stand to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Mind you, Hillary got nothing to do with this. Hillary was like, girl, I met Gayleen once. I don't know these motherfuckers. This is all Bill's issue. Bill, why do you do this to this woman? Bill, you are always dragging your wife into your mess. It's like Hillary is like the Olivia Pope to your situation, but like reverse. It's reverse. And you cheated on her and all that. Literally, she's like, I don't know why I'm involved in this. She literally sat on the stand and said, I don't know why I'm involved in this. I don't know Mr. Epstein. I don't know anything about the crimes. She's like, this is all a political scandal. that you guys are trying to put on me. She's like, if you guys really want to go talk to somebody, she said, bring Donald Trump on stand. Because let's not forget, too, there's actually a victim who had said that Donald Trump allegedly essayed her. So I have to say allegedly because, girl, we know the files out there, but every single time we try to look through these documents, they're saying the documents involving him are missing. So, something's not adding up to me when it comes to that. But in addition to that, Bill Clinton, so the day that we put out this episode, not me saying we, like y'all about to put out the episode too, but share it too. But tomorrow, aka the day that this episode comes out, February 27th, on a Friday, Bill Clinton will be taking the stand to talk about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, because we know that Bill Clinton has taken his planes a couple times and they do have some pictures together. So people are trying to figure it out. Hey, what's going on with that? So I definitely will keep you guys updated. In addition to that as well, Bill Gates, we already know there's a lot of sketchy things going on with Bill Gates. The fact that there were messages that he sent to Epstein saying that he needs antibiotics for his wife to take just because he probably contracted an STD, and the fact that he had 2 affairs with 2 Russian women. Just overall, he's going on a whole apology tour. It's like, sir, just because you created Microsoft and it's on some Dell and HP freaking computers doesn't mean that we're taking these apologies. Justice to the victims. I just want to say this. I know this is so off topic, but kind of on topic. But I will personally say, in my career in PR, the PR agency that I worked at that provided us with Dell computers to use Microsoft was the most toxic place I ever worked at. So next place, it gotta be a MacBook. I need a MacBook Pro. Thank you, a MacBook Pro. Tim Cook, give me that. Steve Jobs, rest in peace to him. But still, Bill Gates is going on an apology tour. We know that Melinda Gates had done interviews basically talking about like her experience and how she wants justice for the victims, as it should be. I can't wait to share the updates regarding Bill Clinton and him taking the stand. I think that's going to be a moment for everyone to talk about and really like digest that. So definitely expect that on Monday for that episode. Now, moving on to more news. Since I did mention Bill Gates allegedly contracting an STD, let's talk about the fact that the Trump administration has officially removed $600 million in funds in HIV and STD prevention grants. And this is hitting a lot of states, right? California, Illinois, or like some of the few states to name about this. Once again, it's like, sir, we already dealt with COVID. Yes, I get it. HIV, STDs have been around for a long time, but still, people need that for them to live. They need that to prevent them from spreading the disease. And that doesn't only necessarily mean like medication for those who may have the disease, but providing for those who may not have it, but may have a partner who has it, right? Or those who might want to take PrEP, because you got to protect yourself. I tell women too, take PrEP, protect yourself. So it's kind of crazy how they're getting rid of this, but it's like, how many of the people who voted for him probably have HIV or an STD that isn't curable, right? And it's not only talking about the curable ones too, but we're talking about the incurable ones as well. So this type of situation where they're getting rid of these prevention grants, imagine this STD HIV epidemic that we currently know that keeps rising, how we're hearing that certain cities, because let's not forget, there's a certain point where we heard about Houston being the city with the highest rates, or even the fact there's like a city in Louisiana that had the highest rates. What is going to be done with that? Are we going to be consulting with medical professionals about this? Because I know this administration tries to push the fact that they want to use herbal medicine or just drink whole milk and you'll be fine. But it's like, it doesn't seem like it's working, because your main person, aka the president, I'm not saying he has that, but look at his hand. And what kind of other health issues does he have that we don't know? You know what I mean? Like, we see his hand. I'm not saying he has this, but still, why should we be taking health advice from the leader when he looks like he can't even handle his own health? And don't even get me started with RFK. I don't trust no man who goes to the gym in some jeans on or works out with Kid Rock. Yeah, I'm good. And I don't trust anybody who's like, oh, I drink whole milk. I don't like whole milk. Whole milk is nasty. But then again, I'm lactose intolerant. But still, this is just disturbing, disgusting. But guess what? That's not going to stop y'all from having sex. It's not going to. Just like how I said during COVID, I seen how you guys handled STDs. I just knew you guys were going to let COVID spread rapid. Here's another situation, but definitely I'm going to keep saying this: protect yourself, protect yourself, protect yourself. So now we need to talk about someone I really can't stand. This person thinks he's white, but he's really not. He's a cornball. He's a fucking clown. Once again, another DE and I hire, Kash Patel. Kash Patel, sadly, is the head of FBI, should be doing his job, but then again, too, who in this administration is doing their job? None of them. Once again, not surprised, disappointed just overall with this whole administration. Am I surprised by this? Really wish y'all voted for Kamala once again. But am I surprised by this? No. So I don't know if you guys know, the Winter Olympics happened. The men's hockey team won. This has been a while since the men's hockey team has won. I think the last time was 2006 or 1996? Either way, they trash. Let's be real. You guys were not checking for the Winter Olympics for a while. And the last time I even watched the Winter Olympics was when Shaun White was doing his thing on a snowboard. But nobody really cares about the Winter Olympics. But this time I feel like a lot of people are caring about it just because with all of the mess going on in the country, this is kind of like a form of escapism for people just to be like, you know what? The country's going through shit, but let's still support them at the Olympics. So during their celebration in the back, not even popping champagne. That's the crazy thing. Y'all was not even popping bottles like they do at the NBA finals. Y'all were popping beers, true American style. Then you got Kash Patel, the only person with a hint of melanin in there, like, yeah, America, USA, USA. I don't know what song was being played in the background. I know it wasn't a song I would have listened to. It could have been Jelly Roll for all I know. But Kash Patel is out there trying to act like he was one of them frat boys. I know for sure you are not that guy in college. You are not him. Once again, you have not showed us like you doing your job at the FBI. I can't stand Pete Hegseth. At least I could say he's done a few things. Can't stand him, but he's at least done something. Not helpful for anybody who's not part of that administration, but still, he's given us a little display, air quote, of him doing his job, air quote. But the thing is with this, I'm like, wait till you get that reality check, because it's going to come and happen. The fact that you're getting exposed for using these American tax dollars to go to F1 with Kristi Noem, to watch the races, to do this, to fly your girlfriend out, which she would not be checking for you unless you had this position. So what's going to happen when this administration is out of here? Because just know they're going to get rid of you. I hope you know that. They are going to get rid of you. You will not be appointed anymore. So get ready for that. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but a clown, a cornball. And let me just add my little few cents about the U.S. Olympics men's hockey team. Trash. Y'all really did all that just so Trump can mention you guys at the State of the Union. You guys literally did all that, won the game, to go to the White House, be in this man's face, this terrible man's face, just for you guys to go to the dining hall, to sit down and eat a freaking McChicken or a quarter pounder that with some burrito wrapped napkins. That's crazy. You guys went through all this, I say it again, to go to Washington, D.C., stand in front of these DE&I hires, and then in addition to that, to be provided with quarter pounders and McChickens. Y'all didn't even have no fries, because I looked at that table, I didn't see no fries. Not even a McFlurry, bitch. I know damn for sure the ice machine is not working, but they would have found a way to make it work. You know, they would have found a way to make it work, because who wants to serve them? But still, that is crazy. Who wants catering for McDonald's? Like, dang, I just fought for this country and you just want to give me McDonald's? Not even like a 5-star meal? Not even some Nobu. Well, they're not going to give you Nobu. That's sushi. And let's be real, how ignorant that president is. He's going to be like, what is this? Sushi is. No. Ew. It's crazy how you guys try to push this rhetoric of making sure that we eat clean, no GMOs and everything, but then look what you guys are serving athletes. Yeah, look what you guys are serving your guests. McChickens and quarter pounders. Ugh, and I haven't had McDonald's in years. But let's move on because the USA did beat Canada in the Olympics for the hockey game. Let's talk about the women for a second. We do know that women's hockey team as well, they won, but they're not messing with this Trump rollout. I know that Trump keeps saying, the women are going to come, the women are going to come. They're not coming. They're not going to. They're not coming to visit you. They don't want that. They're not involved in that. You've said so many crazy things about women. Why would any woman want to be around you unless they're a pick-me? Unless they want to be picked. Unless they are desperate and stupid and they don't know themselves. That's why I always say you got to be a selective girl's girl. You can, like I say, yes, I always say women need to support women, but some of y'all women don't need my support. Some of you guys don't need my support because the way y'all voted for this man, you don't need my support. He got you, honey. But still, even when it comes to the women's hockey team, I think it's best for them to tread away from that whole administration. Don't even touch that. Go take the offers other places because the men's team, we're not going to care about them. And the women's team has been whooping ass for years and have always been winning. Similar to like the U.S. women's soccer team and how iconic they've been for that. I can kind of see that happening as well too. Do I think we're going to care about hockey in that aspect? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because the people I know who care about hockey are Canadian or they're white. But then also too is I know white people who don't like hockey. The only time I even liked hockey was when I lived in Boston. And that was the Boston Bruins. But I think I did an episode and talked about how they're racist as fuck to one of the fans were racist as fuck to PK Steuben. But PK Steuben is another conversation for another time because he said some questionable things too. So we'll get that later. But still, since I did mention Canada, I do want to talk about traveling and how the travel industry has definitely made a shift, especially when it comes to like the international market. Well, Canadian travel to the US has dropped and it's cost the US $4.5 billion. So what does that mean? Canadians are not crossing over, coming through Michigan or coming through upstate New York to go get some Target. Because, sometimes they cross the border to go to Target and go back home, right? They do a little trip in New York, go back home. Well, they're not doing that no more. They're like, we're not stepping our foot into the U.S. They said, you know what? We don't need New York City. We got Toronto. We got Montreal. We got Ottawa. We'll be fine. We can go to Europe. We can go to the UK. We'll find a different way. But it's crazy how you're noticing how Canadian travel, that's $4.6 billion. That's a lot of money. Isn't there like a certain amount of billions Donald Trump was trying to sue the IRS for? That's crazy. Yeah. So I just think we need to reevaluate this because this is ruining tourism for us, right? As much as people are like, oh yeah, I want to travel outside the US is still a tourist destination. That's why I always say, yes, you can do international travel, but you can also travel to certain places in the US. There are certain places you should be going to just to see the history and everything like that. But for this to happen, I won't be surprised when we hear about the rates for the European countries and how they're not coming here as well just because of ICE and everything going on. Which, hey, I don't blame them because you don't want to be at the airport and they're like, oh, wait, there's something going on with your visa. We got to detain you. You don't want that. You really don't. Also, I just want to add one last point before I move on to the next topic because since we are talking about like travel, I don't know if you guys know as well, Kristi Noem is threatening to halt or suspend TSA pre-check, TSA clear, just overall anything to get you through the airport faster. She's trying to get rid of that for a bit, just with the fact that the Department of Homeland Security is currently on a shutdown. So pay attention to that. But I will say this, Kristi, with all that money you're using for your facelifts, your Botox and everything like that, and your little blowout from the dry bar, which still looks a hot mess, are you going to refund those people their money? Because you have to pay for those things. Are you going to refund those individuals their money? Because if you're telling me that you're going to get rid of this, you are going to have longer lines and it's not going to be efficient for anybody. And guess what? Who's going to be dealing with the brunt of it? The TSA workers. They're going to be hearing it from all of these passengers. And I won't be surprised if somebody goes and tweaks out and tries to fight somebody. And one thing is, don't fight at an airport. Don't fight on a plane. You do not want to be put on the no-fly list. Because once you are on the no-fly list, how are you going to make that international trip? Are you going to take a cruise? Because who has time for that sometimes? Like, I love me a cruise, but depends on the cruise and where the location is. Are they doing cruises to Europe? Are they doing cruises to certain parts of Europe? Because I know a lot of you guys like to go to Europe. Are they doing cruises to Europe? Are they doing cruises to Hawaii? Do you want to be in the water for that long? Love me some water, but I don't want to be in the middle of the sea for that long. We see what happened with the Titanic. Yeah, no thank you. But it's the fact that you are threatening to removing these things, but people pay for this. Where are those funds going to happen? Like, just think about it. You're going to have to refund these people their money for even paying for that access. Oh my gosh. We just have one talking point left for politics and we could speed on through this episode. Okay, guys, let's get to it. Mamdani and Trump actually had a meeting today on Thursday, February 26th. They basically had like a private meeting. It was like a discussion, basically discussing like housing in New York. And I guess in addition to that, it was pointed out that Trump had promised to Mamdani that he will release a Columbia student who was detained by ICE. So we'll see if he keeps that promise, but they've been having conversations. Sadly, sometimes you do have to work with the opposing party to get something, but luckily with these midterms coming up, we're going to see a shift. We are going to see a shift. I don't know if you guys know as well too. I know I'm like going all over the place, but we just hit Mercury retrograde today on February 26th, and that's lasting until March 20th. So definitely pay attention to a lot of things. If your exes are coming back, if certain situations or the past are coming back, definitely use it with discernment, but also use it as a time to truly process if you learned that lesson. And don't be surprised if technology is wonky or if communication is wonky. As somebody who has to record a podcast, I'm not gonna lie, there's a few times I had to go back and re-say what I had to say because, when I tell you when Mercury's in retrograde, it is always tough for me to get through these episodes. But we're doing what we got to do. And then in addition to that too, I know I'm like going into an astrology rant right now, but we do have Saturn in Aries, and that is lasting for 2 years. If you are currently going to your Saturn return, you are probably around the ages of 27 to like 29. You're around those ages. You're probably going to be learning some monumental lessons that will spew you into adulthood. As somebody who just ended their Saturn return, and I'm pretty sure Saturn will go back into Pisces again, but as somebody who learned their Saturn return, I'm personally going to say this: you will get so much revelations and you will definitely grow your identity to it, right? It does get better. And I'm only saying this because Saturn is just out of Pisces, but you'll start seeing a lot of things and a lot of answers and why things have to go certain ways depending on where you have it. I have it in the house of goals, aspirations, dreams, wishes, and friendships. And I could say some motherfuckers I was friends with before my Saturn return, I don't talk to them no more. So that right there. But still, bringing it back to this whole Mamdani situation, sometimes you have to partner with motherfuckers you don't like. We do it in the corporate world. We do it in work. We do it in life. But sadly, that's what it is. But still, we'll see if he keeps that promise when it comes to removing or releasing the Columbia student, the student from Columbia University, out of ICE's hands so they can go back to school and live their lives. Okay, well, now do we talk about more things regarding education? We might as well get through these. So if you guys know Hunter College, I didn't go to CUNY school. We know there are CUNY and SUNY schools. State University of New York, City University of New York. Hunter College is a CUNY school. CUNY actually has some really good schools, right? They have some very well acclimated schools. I actually know somebody who went to Hunter College. I didn't go to Hunter College. I went to NYU. Like, not me dropping it like that. Girl, I'm acting like I went to Harvard. But I went to NYU. If I didn't go to NYU, I probably would have went to Hunter College. And I know somebody from like my alma mater in Boston's like, Wista, why are you gonna like not claim Boston? Nope. Once I get that master's, I gotta claim that school over everything. Sorry, Suffolk. But still, there was a Hunter College professor who I think she's an adjunct professor, but she's tenured. Her name is Allison Friedman, and she is actually under the hot seat because she said some very disrespectful things about black students and specifically a predominantly black school, while a student who is a black student was actually giving a speech and presentation of why it's important for their school to be open. And I don't know if this lady didn't know that her mic wasn't on for Zoom. Like she thought her mic was off. And she was just saying, oh, well, she said something in the lines of, well, black people need to think you just have to teach them like this and they'll learn it like that. Don't they realize they're going to a bad school? It's not good. And I'm thinking to myself, is lady, what is up with y'all when it comes to Black History Month? Can y'all leave black people alone in general? Like Cardi B said, we got condos in your head. Like this young girl is giving a speech to why she still wants her school to be open. She wants to learn and everything like that. And you are an educator. You teach out of college. You're a professor. How did you even get through that? This is why I always say, like, they need to do like mental health screenings and just really like do certain like programs or testing for people when it comes to teaching the youth or being a teacher in general, or even a professor. Somebody be like, oh, well, they're a teacher. A professor is still someone who teaches. They might be getting more than your pre-K teacher or your high school or middle school teacher, but they still teach. They're still teaching a craft, right? They have a career, but they're also teaching the craft as well too. Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. So I'm glad she got exposed. I'm glad she got exposed. And it's the fact that she's trying to like say if I offended anybody. And I hate when you guys write these apologies and you say to those you offended. Why you gotta say it like that? That means you're not really apologizing. The apology was not even authentic to begin with. You're mad you got caught. You're mad you got caught for saying that. And this makes me think for the fact that, like, when it comes to black students or even students of color pertaining or coming from a certain school district, people always think because you went to school in this district doesn't mean you're smart. I went to the East Ramapo School District, bitch. I went to Spring Valley High School. Some of the books were old as hell, but we had people who scored way much higher in the SAT than somebody who went to a private high school. Than somebody who went to Albertus Magnus, AHA, all those Catholic high schools. I could have went to a Catholic high school. I just didn't want to because you guys know my past about going to Catholic school. That shit was toxic as fuck. It was so toxic that I had to go to a prep school in Haiti, go to school with diplomat kids, billionaire, that sounds so fucking privileged. Billionaire kids, doctors' kids, all those kids, and had a better experience. And then the earthquake happened, went to public school, and I loved it. Learned so many things. Learned so much. Went to college and all that jazz. So it really goes to show you, like, when everybody talks about Catholic school or even like going to private school, I always say there's two different experiences. If you want me to talk about Catholic school, girl, hell no. But if I'm talking about the private school I went to in Haiti, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got bullied there too, but still, look how I turned out. I turned out great. But still to that, it's like, wow, I hate when people try to look at somebody and be like, oh, well, you probably don't know this because you went to this school. No, honey, that doesn't do anything. But I think this rhetoric also shows to you that even when it comes to these educated spaces, you can still be ignorant. You can still be racist as hell. That's why even when I think about like living in Boston, or even if you live in a more liberal location, there is liberal racism that exists. And how I know that exists, you could be walking down Tremont Street in Boston and a white woman will clutch her bag. I remember I screamed this one. I said, girl, you ain't got nothing in that bag that I fucking want anyways, and kept walking. So we will see how Hunter College handles this. I know it's a little bit different when the professor's like tenured. So I think that she's like been there for 10 years. So once you're tenured, it's kind of like hard to like get rid of them. But so we'll see how they figure that out. But let's move on into something that just had me shook. This is what had me shocked. So a New York City assistant principal led a double life as a pimp and coerced $2K for an LA-based prostitute to lure clients. So this man was in Queens. He's an assistant principal for a school in Queens. And he was literally being a pimp on the side for a prostitute in LA. And they had text and information and all that of how he was coercing those things. I think they were saying that he was making around like what? I think he was making like $120,000 a year. And he had a bond for like $150,000. His sister bonded him out. Yeah, you see, once I find out you a pimp, you out here got women selling coochie. I don't know, bro. You gonna have to figure it out yourself. Yeah, I don't have time for that. You know. And you're probably downplaying the women and not even giving them the funds that they deserve to get. Yeah, no thank you. And you work at a school. You work as a principal. You're an assistant principal. I could understand why they want to get rid of you. Because if you're able to manipulate a woman in LA to do that work for you, and she's not even getting paid that much, she's only getting $2K, $2,000, and you're getting the rest, what makes you think you're not going to try to get one of those students to do it? Think about it. I have to say that. I can understand why they have to arrest him. That makes sense. Makes total sense. But we'll see. We'll get some updates on that. But when I tell you this is too much, and in addition as well, since I am talking about the school system and everything, the FBI just actually like seized files and all that jazz from the Los Angeles School Department's superintendent. I don't know what's that about, but the superintendent has had said some things about the administration and how they don't want ICE at their schools. So I think this is just Trump doing this whole, I need to get my enemies. I need to get my enemies. I think that's a situation like that. But for the fact that principal, that assistant principal in Queens, you really would found a way to get a girl who's selling her box, selling her body, a sex worker, give her $2K to do all the work, and you in Queens teaching these students, being an assistant principal, getting around $120,000 a year. Wow. Wow. That's all I can say. This is too much for me. Let's just move on. Let's move on. This is too much. Now we are moving to the business portion. I feel like this is going to be fast to go through, so let's go through this. The MTA is now testing AI powered cameras to detect fare invasion. We know that the fare for the subway has been going up very high. So yes, people are trying to find a way to still take public transportation without paying for it. Because guess what? The prices are going up. And it's like, how are people going to get to their destination or get to work when they have to deal with the fact that they have to pay a certain amount going back and forth? It doesn't make sense. Let's try to find a way to make things cheaper. How are you guys going to raise up the prices, but the trains are not moving to efficiency? I don't blame them for finding different ways to get on the train. But the fact that you guys are using AI to identify people's faces, AI isn't always correct. Chat is not always correct. Chat will mess up dates. Chat will mess up things. And I feel like to a certain extent, there's going to be a lot of errors when it comes to people of color if they use this, especially when it comes to people of color. I don't know what it is, but that's what my soul is telling me. And I think that is going to happen. I don't know if you guys know too, the Wegmans in, what street is it on? It's on, I'm not even saying Alston, Astor Place. The Wegmans in Astor Place. Pay attention to that Wegmans. They are using AI, allegedly. Like I talked about this a couple episodes ago. They're using AI as face recognition. We're already seeing posts about people going to grocery stores and they're doing the self-checkout. And the self-checkout will have their video or like their face on there. And then the thing will say, oh, usual customer, not a thief. It's like, what? Like, people are getting exposed. And let's be real, self-checkout is a place that's notorious for people stealing. But I think people tend to forget is that when you are in a retail establishment Asset protection has cameras in so many places you would not know. So even if you don't get pulled over or caught for stealing within a store, just know they're racking up the prices. So then when they call the cops on you, they have a viable way to get you locked up, right? So let's say, for example, you go to, I don't know, Stop and Shop and you steal like $300 worth of groceries. They're probably waiting until you steal another 200 so they can call the police on you. So that's just one thing I want to say. But now that they're adding AI to it, what if there's somebody that looks similar to you, right? Let's say there's somebody who looks similar to you that's doing the thieving, but you're not doing the thieving. And then when you pop in, you do your thing, they call asset protection and they're like, oh, that's that person. Like, really? I don't know. I just don't trust AI when it comes to the aspect of photos. And then it's like, I think there's another thing what they're doing with collecting that data. What are they doing with your images after? Right? Remember when everybody was taking pictures, making themselves look old? I think that was some company using AI to a certain extent just to see if they can really acknowledge facial recognition. I get it. We do have Face ID. I fully understand that. But there's still levels to this. I'm just saying. But this is a little too much. And even if we stay in the aspect of AI, another thing I'm going to talk about, because I know a lot of people who are in the music industry. Well, hate to break it to you guys, AI is taking over, right? You have to adapt. And I tell musicians this, just like when the streaming era started, you guys were like, oh, no streaming. Well, you have to adapt to it. Now you must adapt to AI. Use it to your advantage. Google and Apple are now using AI features to their music apps, right? I won't be surprised when Spotify pops up on it, right? So that means Apple Music, Google Play, where if they have like their music section, are now going to be using AI for playlisting. That means for some of you guys who will pay people to be on playlists, now you need to know how to strategize the keywords for AI to work out for your playlisting, but then also knowing someone who's educated in AI to help you out when you want to have your song on a certain playlist. So that's the news with that for sure. Good luck to anybody who needs that. Now, I do want to talk about this before I get to our general celebrity news. I don't know if you guys know, but eBay actually bought Depop, which I'll tell you guys what Depop is, from Etsy for $1.2 billion. And this is very important because I don't know if you guys know, Gen Z is very much into their vintage. They're into buying pieces that are from the past, especially from the 2000s. Well, Depop has a large Gen Z base, right? And we know eBay has been around for years, but the database has just always looked a mess. Etsy's been around for years, but when I think of Etsy, I think of it as a marketplace for small businesses or people who have a business or create their own crafts or create something to sell their items, right? I don't see you selling like vintage Coach or vintage Gucci on Etsy. So it makes sense. But I will say I give props for Etsy for creating Depop and really creating a community on there. But the thing is, I want to see how eBay is going to use Depop. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, like I said, eBay's interface is so outdated, I can compare it close to Craigslist. But let's not forget, eBay has been trying badly to attract a younger audience, right? They've been partnering with brands like GOAT. They're doing the whole sneaker authentication. They're partnering with influencers like Amy Kelly. I love me some Amy Kelly. But they're partnering with certain influencers, right, who do very much maximalist styles or wear like certain designers, and it's still not sticky because guess what? There's too many things going on when it comes to eBay where people are like, do I really want to use eBay? And yeah, the interface doesn't look that great. It needs to be updated. So I can see why they want a Depop, because Depop looks fresh. It looks new. It looks nice. Honestly, if they were really about that, it would make sense if they bought Mercari. Mercari is another platform I think they should have bought. I don't know if they own Mercari, but Mercari is also one of those platforms similar to like a Poshmark, but the interface looks more updated. I don't mind Poshmark. I feel like Poshmark is so 2011, where everyone was wearing the Jeffrey Campbell boots and the studded shorts and the studded jackets during that party rock era. I can understand, but even with that too, I feel like if eBay bought Poshmark, updated the interface, and updated theirs, they'd be unstoppable. But I see what they're trying to do with Depop, because a lot of the users on Depop are Gen Z. But the thing is, now that they bought it, what are they going to do with it? Because are they going to change certain settings? Are they going to change certain things? Because we saw what happened to Instagram when Meta bought it. So we'll see what happens. I don't really use Depop. It's not for me. I am more of a Mercari. I am more of a Poshmark. I am more of, I could say I do look at eBay, but I just need certain things to see and do the research. But then into, if I'm buying vintage or if I'm buying something that's like from a brand, I go on the Real. I go on that. I'll go on Fashion File. Like, for me to really go use a Depop, an eBay, or even a Poshmark Mercari, I can't find it on Fashion File. I can't find it on the Real, or I'm really looking for a deal, but I need to make sure the authentication is real to the max. That's another thing too. When it comes to those platforms, you have to realize is make sure the authentication is good. But then again, too, the Real has gotten called out for authenticity as well. But that's a conversation for another time. And one last thing, since we are talking about finances, there's a family in South Africa that took their deceased relative, like they actually took the body to the bank to show it as a proof of death. That is, I commend that, but I know it's stunk in there. Rest in peace to that person, but still, that is so freaking extra. It's like, did you not bring out the death papers? They're like, we need more proof. For them to bring the whole body, the whole casket to the bank to prove this person is out of here, yeah, hang it up. Now, let's move on to celebrity news so we can all move on with our days. Please. I still cannot get over the fact I've been talking to myself for 51 minutes. Well, I've been talking to you guys, but I can't hear you reply back, but I'm talking to you. So I have the power to everything. I control the conversation. But let's talk about everything going on within the celebrity space. I do want to talk about the whole BBC situation with the BAFTA Awards. If you guys don't know, the BAFTAs is basically the British version of the Oscars. It's a very important honor that you can get as well too, especially when it comes to the international market, just because that expands your visibility within the international market. Well, I don't know if you guys know, there is a film that does have to do with an individual Tourette's, and we know that Sinners has been doing amazing when it comes to award season. Sinners was nominated for so many awards, and they actually won a lot of awards. I don't know if you guys know, but One Me actually won Best Supporting Actress. I love that for her. I'm so happy for her. But I don't know if you guys know as well, Michael B. Jordan, which you guys do know, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy actually did basically presenting the beginning of the show. And while they're presenting, the individual with Tourette's, I'm not going to even acknowledge his name because, sir, you don't get no acknowledgement from me. But that individual who that film is based on, that activist who has Tourette's, blurted out the N-word during Black History Month. And I know Black History Month for the UK is in October. I know y'all's Black History Month is in October, the same month that the Canadians got their Thanksgiving. But we'll talk about that another time. I get it. I get it. Y'all Black History Month is in October, but we're talking about American Black History. Well, every month is freaking Black History for me. But still, I am disturbed and disgusted by the fact that you guys let that pop off, didn't even cut that off. But the fact that you guys are trying to gaslight us and say, oh, he has a disability, he didn't mean it. No. So how the fuck does he know the word? How the fuck does he know the word? How does the fuck does he know this fucking word? Make it make sense for me. You are not going to gaslight me. You are not going to gaslight me and tell me, oh, I should take this apology or I should ignore the fact because this man has a disability. Do y'all forget there are Black people who get Tourette's too? There are Black people with Tourette's. And this is the thing I can't stand, is the fact that some of you guys actually reached out to Black people who have Tourette's, who have been demonstrating themselves with Tourette's. You now give them a platform and you're trying to have them to defend the statement that y'all said. I'm disturbed by that. I will personally say I will not take that apology. Sorry, no. How you know the word? How does that pop off? And then even when this man provided this apology, it did not feel authentic. Just overall trash, basura, fatra, gabish, jetil, fatra, tonel. Like, ew, I'm disgusted. And it's the fact that this whole moment took away from sinners literally doing a whole clean sweep with these awards. And I don't like how I've noticed every single film association that has an award has been trying to do something with Sinners in a way to make it seem like they can't have their moment. And I'm glad Sinners is having its moment. I can't wait for Sinners to win all the shit at the fucking Oscars and clean sweep, y'all, because that is an amazing movie. Like I said, I'm not taking the apology. I don't care if you're like, oh, well, what's the... This is the thing. Just because you got a disability doesn't mean you got to be racist. You can have a disability and not be racist. So don't make no excuses. I do not care. Do not make no excuses. Because let's not forget, too, is there was a young man who had a disability and he said the N-word out of man. And they were like, oh, he can't control himself. No. So how does he know that word? How does he know that word? How? How does he know that? Please, how does he know that? And I know some people are like, oh, well, they have tics. I watch a show on TLC where the young girl has Tourette's and she has tics. Doesn't mean she's ticking all the time. She watches TV. She engages with social media. So that's not going to tell me that she doesn't know these things. Like, please stop making apologies for people for being racist. Like, stop it. Stop it. I cannot. No, I'm not having no sympathy for you. I cannot have sympathy for you. Sorry. I can't. I really can't. But I'm getting heated. Let me just move on to something regarding more actors. I don't know if you guys know, well, you guys probably do know. Shia LaBeouf was actually arrested in New Orleans for an alleged altercation during Mardi Gras. We know Mardi Gras just ended, but I didn't realize that Shia was actually Cajun. My friend let me know that. And he's actually from LA. I really thought this motherfucker was from New York. Thank God he's not from New York. Thank God. But he was in Louisiana celebrating Mardi Gras. Like I said, I don't know what happened with Shia. At a certain point of time, he was your man crush Monday. He was never my man crush. Ew. Shia was never my man crush. I knew there was something wrong. I knew there was something off about him. But the fact that he was your man crush Monday, fighting the Decepticons, also in that other movie, this is how I know this man has always been a little coked up in the head, okay? There's always something going on. The fact that how he messed with FKA Twigs, he abused her, allegedly gave her the bumps, and then the fact that he put his hands on Mia Goth, lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. He needs to get that Chris Brown treatment too. I said it. He needs to get that treatment too. He does. But it's the fact that you are in the city your family's from and you get your ass beat, and then some lady bailed you out, which I'm like, wow. Once again, some of y'all really be pick-me's. Who wants to be picked by Shia LaBeouf? Who wants to be picked by Shia LaBeouf? Then again, too, that just shows to me you guys will put your health at risk just to say you talk to a man or you got a man. But then again, what can I say? Let me mind my business. But since I am talking about New Orleans for a second, I do want to talk about Essence Fest. We know that Essence Fest is actually going to be coming up soon during the summer. Well, Essence Fest organizers are actually under fire because of the unpaid wages, which is approximately $456,000 for the 2025 Essence Fest. I've spoken to writers at Essence Fest. Essence Fest is a very busy time for the platform, and it's the fact that you guys have $456,000 that are owed. So is that for the vendors, the performers? Because I know the celebrities got paid. The celebrities got paid. So who did not get paid? The people who put the whole event together? Did the employees get paid? Did the people who put the stages get paid? Like, there's certain things that need to be discussed when it comes to that. But also, too, is the 2025 Essence Fest was kind of empty. It was kind of empty. So what is the conversation when it comes to this new management? I think what it means is They need to go back to the drawing board when it comes to leadership. And I would say get actual locals from Louisiana specifically. Get Black Americans to take over Essence and specifically Essence Fest to really bring back that pride when it comes to the overall festival. Yes, we can do the cross collaborations of the diaspora, but in the end of it, Essence Fest is really that time to come together and celebrate Black women, regardless of where in the diaspora, but specifically Black American women. Let somebody else do it. I just gotta say it. Let somebody else do it. And I know somebody will be like, "Oh, what's wrong with having like Caribbean people?" I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Caribbean people doing what they want to do. I know specifically right now the leadership is predominantly African, but I'm saying is you have to stick back to the roots of how it was founded. Go back and bring that history to it. Bring folks from that specific community to it. Why are we not seeing Big Frida on stage? Why aren't we doing like a tour of Louisiana? Let's bring some magic. Not me saying magic, but let's bring some essence, some soul to it. See, now you know what I mean. But still, y'all gotta pay these people their money. Pay these people their money, Essence. I know you guys got it. If your CEO is getting paid millions per year, you guys got it in the funding somehow, some way, somewhere. But let's move on to a non-Black owned organization that is still geared towards Black people, that still has a Black audience. Well, BET Plus has decided to pull the plug on Cam Newton's 106 in Sports after 8 episodes. I think the thing is that 106 in Sports, I don't think nobody was really checking for it. It's the fact that 106 in Sports. It's like, I get it. Sports is definitely something that a lot of people do pay attention to. It can be political. It's part of culture. But the thing is, it's like a lot of people want that memorabilia of 106 in Park. That's why when we think about MTV, and I have to bring up MTV for a second, and how they tried to bring back TRL. I think the thing is, yes, you can try to bring back a platform and add a twist to it. But in the end, how are you guys marketing the show? Because I didn't see much marketing for 106 in Sports. Yes, I get it. Cam Newton has like a platform, sort of. He says some problematic things. I get that. But I feel like there should have been a different host. Even a friend of mine had mentioned that too. Now when I'm thinking about the conversation I had with her, maybe even a Deion Sanders. But then again, too, Deion has a show on Tubi with Roxy Diaz. Why didn't you guys take that blueprint? Why didn't you guys secure them before Tubi did? Right? And kind of also, I never watched the show, so once again, I wouldn't know. But when I think about BET Plus and overall anything going on with that, I'm thinking about the Tyler Perry shows, right? I'm thinking All the Queen's Men. I'm thinking of Sisters, Zatima. I'm thinking about those shows, or even The Impact, but I think The Impact is now on VH1. I'm thinking about those shows. I'm not thinking of like a talk show. And I want to see how streaming platforms are trying to take talk shows and really implement them into the online space. Because yeah, we can say ESPN and how they have those shows, but those shows are also displayed on cable or even satellite TV. So that's another thing to think about as well. How are we providing these features and these pros? Because not everybody has a smart TV. And let me add the fact that not everyone is subscribed to a streaming platform, right? Think about the older generation, because they watch those shows too. They don't have those streaming platforms, so they might not watch that. They might just go watch YouTube. Maybe that's another thing too. Maybe they should have put the episodes on YouTube so people can watch it and be aware of that. There just needs to be better promo. Even with the fact that, yeah, Cam Newton has his podcast, his show with BET, and that's still doing good with the interviews. I think they thought, oh, well, let's take him and a sports journalist that may not be too well known together and have them create their own thing. But I don't think it should be like that. My friend had suggested that they should partner with like a Black sports journalist. I think that makes sense. Or even going scouting at like the Black journalism organizations when they have their conferences and really scouting out new talent, or somebody who may not come from the sports world, and then bringing a sports journalist together where they're not only talking about sports, but they're talking about pop culture, because it does intertwine sometimes, right? We know about pop stars or even rappers dating athletes, hence Meg and Clay. You could talk about their relationship, but then you could talk about Clay's overall performance on his team. But then you could talk about the fact that Megan just announced that she's going to be on the Moulin Rouge in Broadway for a couple of days, right? So doing those play on back to back with that as well. So I think they really need to go back to the drawing board and really strategize and think of a different way to come up with a show. Honestly, I get it. We like nostalgia, but nostalgia just needs to stay in the past. I get it. We all love 106 in Park, but just let it retire. The old producers from BET during that peak are not there no more. They're retired. They don't want any involvement with it. Just keep it moving and let's move on from that. Now, we got two last topics. It has to do with rappers. I'm going to talk about the 50 Cent beef with T.I. and his whole family. Honestly, 50 Cent, you finally met your match. You posted a picture of Tiny. King, who is the son of T.I. and Tiny, he is just a menace to society in a different way. He came back and clapped back at you. He should, yeah, I respect. He defended his mom. Personally, for me, I don't talk about the dead, so I don't do that. But he had to do what he had to do. You posted your memes. You even inserted Beyonce's mom into it, which, Mama Tina, girl, sometimes support your friends on the side, on the low, but don't involve with that, because that young man, not even young man, 50 Cent is always going to come after you just because of your son-in-law. He has issues with your son-in-law. Girl, next time, mind your business, Mama Tina. I get it what you're trying to do, but let's mind your business, okay? You're the mother of Beyonce. Be happy about that and do what you got to do. Now, we're getting music from T.I. T.I. is making a comeback. He's finally stepping away from his comedy and acting and freaking podcast, and he wants to get back in the booth. When it comes to the diss tracks, I was like, I don't know about this one, but I'm happy you're clapping back. Am I here for these diss tracks, them going back and forth? No, y'all are grown. But the thing is, 50, please, sir. Please, cancers. This is why I can't deal with cancer sometimes. You guys will take things so far to the point where it just looks corny. Let's move on. Let's be adults. You have your success. He has his success too. I just don't see the point of having beef with somebody. I just don't. I can understand your beef with Ja Rule. I can understand that. That man and his whole affiliation shot 9 times. I fully understand it. I can understand the Jim Jones thing. But seriously, this T.I. situation, sir, you know what? Let me mind my business when it comes to rap beef. I'm just from the suburbs. Let me mind my business. But this is just too much for me. But I will say this, 50 Cent, you met your match. You met your match. I want to see how that's going to happen, because even with that, they're pulling up Fed papers. They're pulling up all this information about you. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Defend yourself. Now, I really want to talk about this topic, and this is about Cash Doll. So Cash Doll, if you guys don't know, Cash Doll is a rapper from Detroit. She had also dated that athlete of the name Zedarius. I think he played for the Detroit Lions, and then he ended up playing for the Philly Eagles. And I guess that, I don't know what happened with that, but they used to date and everything. Cash Doll's from Detroit. We know that Detroit, they have very much a out there style. I can say very flamboyant, very much out there about their shit. They're wearing Cartiers, they're wearing furs. They're very much always, the hair is always laid. Cash Doll's always laid, put together. Yes, she's wearing the latest designers, all that. Love it. Now, she had gifted her daughter moon boots. Anybody who knows moon boots, you either wear Uggs or you wear moon boots. Moon boots is kind of like those boots that are in style right now. Everyone's wearing them. They're not a bad price, right? I think they're like, $180 to $200. Not bad. Not bad at all. Well, somebody in the comments was like, oh, you're so materialistic. You bought your daughter moon boots. That's kind of like somebody saying, oh, you bought your child Uggs. I get it to a certain extent, because yeah, they're going to grow out of this. Why don't you buy it when they're a little bit older? But that is her money. This is her money. If she wants to spoil her kids or give the kids the best of what she can do, let her do it. She is spending her money on her kids. I support it. But this is where it took a turn. She decided to clap back at the person and saying, why are you guys pocket watching? And then she says she doesn't care about the less fortunate. Now, right there, I said, girl, I was all for the clapback, but then it's the moment you said you don't care for the less fortunate. When this kind of gave me a flashback of how B. Simone was saying she don't deal with people who work 9 to 5s. I hope you do know some of those people you're addressing, you're calling them broke. They pay for your music. They pay for your concerts. For you to buy those moon boots for your daughter, those people that you're calling misfortunate, it's coming out of their pockets if you really think about it sensually. And then I think another thing too is life will humble you real fast. Look at what happened with B. Simone. She talked about people with 9 to 5s, and look at that. She said she couldn't even afford Bloomingdale's. So don't think it can't make a turnaround at you. And I know she had apologized and said, oh, yeah, she apologized for that. I'm like, yeah, you had a dream. You had a dream that the karma is going to come back to you. You still said it. That's crazy. And still to this day, I don't understand how you guys support people who call you guys broke. How do you guys still support these people? Because let's not forget, Ari's the same person. Once you call her out for something, she calls y'all broke. Eventually comes back and bites you in the butt. Because those people will get tired of it. But still, for her to say that, I was very disturbed by that. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can listen to your music no more because you call these people misfortunate. They're going to your concerts. They're liking your page on IG. They're the ones actually engaging with your content so you can garner funds from your shows and everything. I don't know if Cash Doll's even signed to a label. I think she's independent now, but still, girl, you're an independent artist. The people who are actually funding you are your fans. Like, girl, make it make sense. Don't say that. But I will say this. Don't say these type of rhetorics because one thing about life, it has its twists and turns. And there have been people who have been millionaires and lost it all and had to rebuild it. Let's not forget Pinky Cole and the slutty vegan and how she had it all. And then boom, something happened with her business and how she has to rebuild it. Girl, please be careful. Be careful what you say. But you guys, I'm going to end this episode right here. Thank you so much for listening to Words with Wista. This is the 200th episode, you guys. Wow. I love that. I love you all. I appreciate you all. If you found this podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you found it is where you got to follow it. If you have any questions, constructive criticism, email me. Send me a DM at ItsWista. Now, let me say it again. If you want to send me a voicemail where you want me to answer a question for you, or even you got some tea that you got to spill, well, let me give you the number again, because you know what? You never know who's calling in. We might have a celebrity calling, you guys. You just never know. So let me give you guys the phone number. Hold on. I got to pull up the phone number while I'm looking at this, which that means I don't even have the number memorized. But the number is 929-379-5772. 929-379-5772. You can hit me up there. I'm not answering the phone because it's not connected to my phone. So you're going straight to voicemail. So please don't even try to call and think you're going to get contact with me. But leave a voicemail and I will play it on here. You got some tea to spill. I hope you have a distinct voice because you don't want to get exposed one day. But still, call in. Let me know. You'll be featured on the show. Thank you to Fred for calling in and just giving those flowers, Fred. Appreciate you. You're a real king. Love you, sir. Yes. But you guys, let me let you guys go. Once again, too, you can follow me on Instagram at ItsWista, ItsWista. You guys can follow me on Substack at wordswithwista. I will be writing a new Substack next week. I think it's going to be about weight loss and how I've gone for being the girl that was invisible to being the visible girl. We'll talk about it another time. But you guys, love you all and have a great rest of your week. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.